And we're live once again. Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Lynn, and I'm a developer advocate at MongoDB. And this is the MongoDB Podcast Live. Got a great show lined up for you today. Would love to know where you're coming from. Where are you joining us from in the world? I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and I'm in a little town called Newtown, Pennsylvania. And today we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence in the legal community. Got two guests from Genie AI who are going to join us today and tell us about what they've built and how it's leveraging MongoDB. So in the meantime, we'll let folks pile in. Got folks joining the stream from all over the planet. Let us know where you're joining us from, and we'll see who's the furthest from the East Coast of the United States. It's great to have you joining us. Thanks for taking the time. Without further ado, let's bring our guests on stage. Dan and Anna from Genie AI. Let's start with some introductions. Dan, why don't you start? Tell folks who you are and what you do.
Yeah, everyone. I'm Daniel. I'm from Italy, and I've been working in the IT industry for almost 20 years as a backend software engineer. And my experience ranging from corporate companies and startups. I joined Genie back in 2019 as a backend engineer, and now work as a tech lead and a backend engineer.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, welcome to the show, Danielle. And Anna, tell folks who you are and what you do.
Hi, hello, Michael. Thank you for having us. Yeah, so I'm Anna. I actually study pharmacy, and I work as a pharmacist for around 5 years. For me, programming started more like as an hobby until the point I thought maybe I want to switch career because I really like this, and I enrolled in a bootcamp, which was really funny, a really amazing experience, like the kind of ambient that in 3 months we learned so much. So it was really amazing. And yeah, it led me to Genie. I joined 2 years ago, and I work as a front-end engineer here at Genie.
Fantastic. I love that story. A completely different career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a massive investment to become a pharmacist, no?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You
I think
really love tech.
yeah, the excitement of tech, I think it was bigger than the pharmacy, so it was an easy choice.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us. And that brings us to Genie AI. Dan, maybe give us an overview. What is the company all about?
Yeah, I think we can, both of you, Anna and I, interact to
Yeah, sure.
explain Genie. So Genie focus is to build the best legal AI assistant, and that means help people to draft and review contract faster in a
Mhm.
definitely a better way. Anna, would you like to add something?
Yeah, sure. So, what we really want is for people not to have to reach to a law firm, and we know that it's quite costly. So, we want to empower everyone basically to be able to create legal, sound documents, high quality documents by
Mhm.
themselves through the use of the AI and our editor.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most impactful areas where AI can be brought to the consumer level. I mean, obtaining a lawyer is a very expensive proposition, and I'm sure there are questions you can ask and have answered by general AI assistants like ChatGPT, et cetera. But having something specifically trained in the legal space, um, what about liabilities and concerns around advice that is given from an AI based product like Genie AI?
This is a good question that maybe I can try to answer with some numbers. Maybe
Sure.
definitely easier. So we found out recently that um, let's say 10-50% of our customer base are lawyers
Hmm.
that are using our platform to speeding up the process, and the feedback we are getting from them are pretty good. So
Yeah.
definitely there is a let's say room for improvement because this technology is going to improve a lot. Uh, but according to the feedback of our customers and users, Genie is providing great value.
Yeah. Well, I think that's wonderful because I think there's a lot of concern in tech and even outside of tech that AI is going to take jobs, and what I'm hearing is it's actually just enhancing the legal community. It's being used by the folks that need to provide legal services to consumers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
can
it,
just
yeah.
add that once I joined Genie, the founder Rafi Farouk and Nitish Mutha, they explained me what was the problem. You know, what was the company mission, and I was like, oh, really? So to draft a contract, you have to do all of these manual operations, and there is a lot of cognitive load to draft properly a contract. That is was also inspired me a lot. Sorry, Anna, I interrupt you.
Hmm.
Yeah, just saying, I think it's more being more efficient on how you work. So, for
Mhm.
example, you can grab a template that you have already and tweak it to suit your needs. But if you can reach to the AI, it will already create you a document that is suited to your needs. So you don't have to go through the document and make it to your needs because it already is, and you just have to slightly tweak it with the help of AI again.
Hmm. And so I want to find out how. So did Genie AI start as an AI based company? I guess because of the name, it sounds like it would. Was the intention from the very beginning to leverage AI to help in the legal community?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So actually, a bit of the story of GenieAI. So it was founded in 2007 and 16 when the founders of the company, Rafi Farouk and Nitish Mutha, they were doing their masters of science in machine learning.
Hmm.
So from the offset was always about creating contracts with the use of the AI. So that was always their mission.
Yeah. And so you mentioned templates. I can't wait to show the viewers what this looks like and what we're really talking about here. But we're essentially talking about the process of creating legal documents. And I've never done that myself. I have asked questions of AI assistants around legal matters, but what do people need to know in order to begin to use Genie AI?
Literally, I think is from the start they just need to know really what jurisdiction they need to apply
Mhm.
to the document, what type of document, and from there they can start creating the contract. And really, with the use of our features, they can, if they don't really understand the legal terms, we have features to help explain the contract, explain the clauses, and yeah, we have features to help reviewing. So basically, just from that starting point, knowing
Mhm.
what contract you need and what jurisdiction you need to apply the contract.
Yeah.
Just on top of that, there is let's say, an engineering point of view that I'd like to share, because from an engineering perspective, a legal contract is a list of instructions, a
Mhm.
list of commands, basically. And the difficult part is sometimes to understand what is the meaning, what is the implication of different clauses.
Mhm.
And this is also where GenieAI can provide some help, because you can ask the AI, can you explain, please, this paragraph?
Mhm.
And the AI can provide you some understanding and reasoning behind it. We can show it later how it works,
Okay.
but the reviewing part is also a value that we provide.
Yeah. Yeah. So from a technology perspective, what does the stack look like? I'm going to be somewhere in the stack, but talk about the architecture of Genie AI.
Yeah. So actually, we use MongoDB almost everywhere in our platform. And
Mm.
so the front end is built with Next.js, and
Mhm.
Anna can probably share something more about this later. The backend is built with Node.js, and
Mhm.
we use MongoDB and Atlas. We use a pure MongoDB solution, so collection and ordinary indexes. We also use Atlas Search, that's
Great.
is powering our closer library and the marketplace.
Mhm.
And we have a RabbitMQ in the middle to orchestrate all of the messages that are shared between the AI module and the backend, because there is a lot of
Interesting.
traffic going
Yeah.
on behind the scenes to orchestrate all these clauses and the AI processing.
Yeah. Are you embedding vectors in your MongoDB databases? Is that how you're leveraging vector search?
Not yet. We are
Not yet.
evaluating it. We are
Okay.
evaluating it.
Mhm. Okay. Great. So I feel like I have a better understanding of the tech stack, and it's great that you're using MongoDB all over the place. We love to hear that, of course. What do you say we take a look at what Genie AI looks like?
Sure, let's go.
So here we go. You're sharing your screen, and talk through what we're looking at.
Mhm. So when you logged into the platform, this is the page you'll see. This is our template library.
Mhm.
So this is the community. So you have a page for your own templates, which are private to you, and you have a company page which has our public templates where you can select one and start to use it. This can be your starting point. So you needed a construction contractor accelerator agreement. This is your starting point. You can start tweaking the contract through our templates. We also, if we go back, so we were in the template library, we also provide a clause library. So this is where you can find a kind of question solution.
Mhm.
So you
Well,
can.
before you, Anna, sorry to interrupt. For folks that aren't familiar with the term. What is a clause in the legal sense?
Yeah, a clause is basically like a section of a contract that talks about a specific matter, normally saying some obligations of rights of both parties. So that's basically what a clause is.
Okay. So
So
am I correct in assuming that a template would be the general use case, and the template would probably refer to clauses?
yes,
Is
exactly.
that the relationship? Okay.
Yeah, so the template is a whole contract
Mhm.
already, while the clauses are like the pieces.
Components.
The
Got it.
components.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great. Thank
exactly
you for
that.
that. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, so in this library you can find the clauses if you want to tweak, as I say, one of the templates. But I think the most interesting piece that we have on our application, and I think what it makes us really unique, is our editor, the combination of our editor with the AI. So I will open here a contract that I already prepared for this demo. So one of the features that we want to demo today is the RAG review, but I can talk a bit of the rest of the features we have on our editor. So we have a create from scratch feature. So in this part, we have here our contract on the right side, and we have a chat on the left side. And on the first tab, we can find the create from scratch. This is basically where you can provide what type of contract you want to create and what jurisdiction you want, and it will give you a full contract. We also have a tab, ask anything. So this is basically your legal assistant. You can ask any question. So you can ask to summarize the contract. You can ask to find if there's any clauses that normally are in that a certain type of contract and are missing in your contract, things like that. We also have a really good feature, but is a paragraph AI level feature, which is the explain. So by clicking here, we will get an explanation. What is this clause about? I will go back to it when it comes back. And we also have the possibility of adding track changes. So let's say, for example, two people are collaborating on this, like a junior person is collaborating on this contract. It adds some changes. So it adds some changes. It will add in a track change. So a senior member of the team can come, review what the junior member of the team has done and accept or decline the change. So here we have so it has processed the explain, and here we have the explanation what this clause is about.
Great.
The thing we wanted to demo today is our review. So if we go back to our chat, the last tab that we have is for the RAG review. So this, we have a brief explanation here of what it is, but is basically the feature that enables you to review a contract. So this will scan the contract. It will see for each clause, it will see what type of risk it has for you. And it will mark it with green, amber, or red, green being low risk and red high risk. And additionally, it will provide a comment with an explanation of why it added that flag. So it will give it just for medium to high risk. So let's start here. So I have here a master services agreement. So in this, I will be representing the customer. So we will add the customer. Now it asks us for what type of contract this is. So it's a master service agreement. And what governing law, let's say California. And here we leave a message for the user saying, so just to manage expectations that this process might take around 5 minutes, but as you will see, it will take much less than that. So in here we have an indication of how many paragraphs this document has and how many have already been processed. And we can see as the paragraphs are being processed, we start to receive the flags.
It's a great UI.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's really different, and it has an impact. So we can see, let's see the progress. We are almost done. And yeah, we are done. So as I said, not even a minute to process this. This is as you can see, is quite a long document. It's a 40-page document, so it was pretty quick. So let's find out a clause that I purposely made in favor of the supplier. So I expect that to be marked as some kind of risk. So here I can see it marked. So I made this clause to be really in favor of the supplier, and here we are representing the customer. So in here we see that it marked it as a risk. And here we can really find out why it marked it as a risk, and we can negotiate with the other party, or if we are the ones drafting the document, we can change the clause to be.
Will it make suggestions to change the risk?
Not in here, but we can always reach to the Ask chat and question what changes we might need to do to make this clause
reduce
a
the
bit
risk.
more fair to both parties, or to your party.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So there is a question from M. Maz Nadim. He's asking about considering that there are flaws and there are hallucinations in LLMs. How do you overcome those, the potential for errors?
So we marked as this. We actually say on our platform, this is not actually legal advice. But I don't know if Daniel wants to add anything.
Yeah, so we use a combination of different strategies, and there is a longer testing, internal testing process before we release a new version of the software. And I can talk later about this, but just to give a point, a little bit of context, we also use MongoDB local experience. That is a local version of MongoDB, and in our CI, and we run about 10,000 tests before releasing a new version. So it's heavily tested, and we focus really a lot on quality. Although, yes, as I said at the beginning, the AI result today is not 100% guaranteed, and this is put very clear when you use our platform.
Yeah. So I think just like general AI assistance, I think it's a bit of caveat emptor. I mean, you do need to be aware that there's a potential for errors and hallucinations. So I think it's good to call that out. I had a question about the source and the beginning of this process. Let's say I'm not drafting, I'm not creating a contract, but I've received one. Can I start using the system with a physical copy of a contract?
Yes, absolutely. You can import your own contracts and review them. Yes.
Okay.
And
there's,
our platform,
there's some type of PDF upload or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We can.
Yeah. Great. Terrific.
Yeah.
So what's next? What else do you want to show us?
Well, maybe if you want, we can share some technical details about how we builds this feature.
Sure, I'd love that.
Well, first of all, the UI, as you said, is presenting these contents in a way that is really accessible to the users. But behind the scenes, there are there is a lot of data that needs to be aggregated by the backends, and the data structure, generally speaking, for an AI product is quite challenging,
Hmm.
because there are relations between different clauses. There are metadata associated to these clauses, and the shape of the data, specifically for our product, is quite difficult to organize. So with MongoDB, we were able to shape the data in a way that make it understandable to both backend and frontend.
Mm.
Because really, the last thing you want to do is to return to the front end a flat structure,
Mm.
with that will make the front end job more challenging in terms of what is the backend returning back. How should I
Mhm.
interpret this data on the front end side? So with MongoDB, we were able to structure the database, um, keep all of the relations, and make sure the front end is able to consume the data uh, easy.
So I love that, and I love that you're leveraging the document model. It's super flexible. I'm curious though, if I were to try to think about the data model, I'm thinking there's probably a templates collection. Inside the templates collection, there's probably a series of fields indicating the metadata for the template, and then the actual contents. And maybe that's a separate collection, but maybe you can help me understand what this data model looks like from a collection and document perspective.
So yes, we have a template collection, and and we also have a document collection, and there is a relation, because
Hmm.
sometimes we want to understand if this document was just uploaded by
Mm.
the user, or maybe is a document created uh, using a template. So
Hmm.
we have two collection for this. Then for the RAG review, we have two different separated collections in MongoDB. One that contains all of the RAG review items,
Hmm.
and we have another collection that contains the RAG review item itself. So the RAG review as a process, and the RAG review items in a separated collection.
Hmm.
And
And there can
each
be
RAG,
multiple items per RAG review.
many.
Yeah. Hmm.
This document might have generated probably 500 records in our DB, and all these records were um, shared by different backend processes, AI processes.
Mm. Okay. Um, okay. And so, um, what's the total disk space consumption? Like how big is this database?
A good question. So it should be at the moment around 50 gigabytes.
Okay, so not bad. So you're probably not sharding or anything crazy like that.
No, no, not
No.
really, because we keep the document as a docx, basically,
Hmm.
and we store it as a docx on S3, and we read it for security purpose, by the way,
Mm.
because it is encrypted, and we read the document every time the user opens it.
Mm.
So probably, yeah, that is also why the storage is not a big issue for us. But
Yeah.
50 gigabyte of data is still something.
Yeah. So we do have another question, and this is quite a long question. Let's see if I can show it. They're asking a number of questions here. Let's go through them. So Genie AI is pretty amazing. Thank you. Thanks for the architecture description. MongoDB fits into the solution. How does it deal with potentially conflicting boilerplate clauses, though? Let's start with that one.
Yeah. So the RAG review can take this into account. I guess the question is how the system can understand if there are clauses in conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So the system is able to understand this and highlight that few of the clauses might have an higher risk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so during the review, that would become apparent, and
Yeah.
I guess there would be action that the user could take to identify or deal with those conflicts. So
Yes.
so let's move on. Also, there are plenty of variations of clauses that favor one party more than the other. Does your prompt take that sort of sentiment into input criteria to drive a choice of clauses?
Definitely yes.
Yeah.
It takes it into account. This is also why the MongoDB schema must have all of the data we need at the time we have to process the clause, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I hope that answered your question, LinkedIn user. If not, you can feel free to hit up with another comment. And that, by the way, folks watching, if you've got questions about how all this works, please go ahead and load those into the comments. I'm curious about something that is always tricky to tackle. Not tricky. I'll just say it's always it's something that you need to deal with. Changes over time. So history of changes to a document. I'm curious how you tackled that specific challenge. There's many ways. There's a multi-collection way. There's you creating a separate field. There's creating a separate field per iteration. There's an array approach to this. What does your history maintenance look like?
Good question. So yeah, first of all, the data structure changes a lot, especially when you are working a startup that is also discovering the feature. And yeah, this is not the exception. This is actually something that might happen on the daily basis. So we use an hybrid approach for this. Sometimes we prefer to migrate the collection.
Okay.
Some other time we can just use a new collection and use the new collection for the new structure, data structure. It really depends on what is the problem. We do use MongoDB schema validation in all of the cases to make sure that the new data validates against the new JSON schema. Is a feature provided by MongoDB, and it has been very, very helpful.
Yeah. So you're going through each of the collections and creating schema, JSON schema, to ensure that nothing out of the ordinary gets into the database, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Terrific. Great. So I think we've answered the questions. Let's go back to what you were showing us. Is there anything else you want to continue showing us, Anna?
I could just show that we also allow our users to change if they are, for some reason, they go here, they read the clause. It's not really a risk for them. They can always resolve the comment and manually change it to green. It's all fine. We also have some AI related features like the negotiation decision. So let's say, for example, I'm a lawyer working like an in-house lawyer, and I'm reviewing this contract, but there are a section that needs to go to sales because they need to review that bit. So this is really handful because they can just mark it as agree, or they don't agree, and the lawyers need to go to the other party and negotiate this clause. We also give the possibility for our users to both documents and projects that I can show in a bit to share them with other users.
Mhm.
We actually revamping a bit the collaboration. So in a couple of weeks, we will have a completely different way of sharing. Yeah, so there's always. So let's say you are working in a project, you can also, as I created for today's episode, you can create a project and add the relevant documents into this project.
Mhm.
And yeah, these are the main and most exciting bits of our app.
Yeah, exciting for sure. So, I want to talk about the costs. So, obviously, is this all free? How are you making money?
Yeah, at the moment is free. Is so anyone can use it. The AI features, both libraries. We are soon going to introduce pricing. So the users can still use the both libraries for free, and they can use the non AI features for free. Like if they want to edit a contract on our editor, they can still do it, but the AI features will be paid.
Hmm. And so, what are some of the most popular use cases? What are people using the system for the most today?
Mm. I think one of the so we are getting a lot of feedback about our create from scratch.
Mm,
People really like that feature,
yeah.
and we can see the difference that is making. So we have been doing some comparison with, for example, just going to ChatGPT, for example, and request the same document. So
Mhm.
we compared it with GPT-4 and Claude 3, with Gemini and Llama 2, and
Mhm.
we can see that exactly with the same requests from the user, um, these LLMs output contracts. They are 2 pages long. So just for the length, we can see it's not. This was for a collaborative agreement.
Mm,
Uh, just from the length, we can see it cannot be something high quality. And whilst Genie outputted for this particular agreement, outputted as 17 pages and a high quality and legally sound contract. So
mhm.
that's something we are getting a lot of feedback from the users about the create from scratch.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the models that you're using to build Genie?
Mm. Don't know if Daniel wants to talk about this. We kind of use a mixture.
Mm,
Yes. So at the moment, we are using a mix of strategies and to compute the result with the AI, and we can definitely say that um, thanks to all of the data we have in our database at the moment, and thanks to the data provided by the community, the system will keep improving along the
mhm.
time.
Yeah. Um, what about your development processes? And we talked a little bit about the schema changes over time, but um, talk a little bit about the development speed.
Yeah, I think this is also a great area where we noticed benefits using MongoDB.
Mhm.
Probably slightly underrated because imagine me as a backend engineer collaborating with Anna, and while we were working on the rug review, the schema had to change many times because we were discovering,
Mm,
researching, and try to understand how to uh, analyze, mix, and merge all of these data to return back something valuable to the user. While this process, the data had to change many times. Uh, but thanks to the MongoDB schema, we were able to quickly reshape the data, the collection, pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And while you work on a AI project, on a research project, you don't know the schema from the beginning. So you have to daily adapt, constantly adapt to adding new fields, and sometimes even new collection in the system. I wonder if Anna want to share her experience as a front-end engineer. How many times you felt blocked by a migration
Yeah.
or something?
Not many, but yeah, I think it's great that like from the data structure perspective, we kind of before of each release we reach an agreement. So for us in this release was easy to create a mock API so we could continue our work without waiting for the backend. Also, obviously, we always have the flexibility if we are blocked by the backend to change into another task, but we know the dangers of constantly switching tasks. And fortunately, I haven't felt that in Genie. Even when we are blocked for some reason, I think the backend can predict really well how long it will take them to do the
Mm.
change. Also, because the tools they use, they are predictable and really give us an estimative of how long it will take, so we can really work around that.
Yeah. So Sarb Deshpande is asking, in addition to history, does it support multiple versions of documents and merging of portions from multiple versions?
Yeah, at the moment we don't, but that's something that is on the pipeline
Okay.
to have a
Great.
version control.
Yeah. So speaking of pipeline, do you want to talk a little bit about what's planned? What's on the roadmap? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk a bit a few that we have. So in a few days, as I already mentioned, we will have a new feature, a tailor feature. It will be similar to the explain that I shown. So it's a paragraph AI feature. So for each clause, you can tweak. Actually, you have some prompts already that you can use, or you can write what are your requirements, and it will add a track change. So you can read it and you can accept it or decline it. So that's in the near future. So as I said as well, we are working on a new version of the collaboration. And also more exciting in terms of AI, we also are working on a customized feature where we will have the AI directly making changes into the document. So, for
Interesting.
example, we want to replace customer word with something else, we can just write a request and the AI will do that for us, for example. So
Very
that's
cool.
pretty exciting. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything else that I might not be remembering, Daniel.
I think it's pretty accurate, and I'm very excited about the tailor feature actually, because it is what's enabled the user to rephrase a clause, specific clause, and the AI can suggest you. So let's make this clause less risky, and the AI can come up with some alternative clauses. So this is the part that's I'm most excited about. Yeah, the collaboration. We can't talk about this at the moment, but the collaboration is also going to be a very crucial part of Genie, because we think that there is a better way to collaborate between even lawyers, and we want to introduce a new way of collaborating with
Yeah.
with the lawyers.
Fantastic. Speaking of collaboration, you collaborate in the MongoDB community. You're taking part in discussions on the forums and participating in, well, things like this. How did you get plugged into the MongoDB community?
So few years ago, when I started using MongoDB back in 2010 or
Hmm.
or sometime like this, uh, I had to use the community quite a lot because, when you are learning a new technology, you want to ask for feedback, do your own research. And it was very beneficial for me at the time to, can you guys explain me the difference between a SQL database and a NoSQL database? And this helped me a lot. And this is the reason why I also now like to collaborate in the community, to give something back to uh, engineers, software engineers that want to use a MongoDB, or they are finding some um, uh, solution to their challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great place to really enhance your skills. And I love what you said about first going to the community with questions and then going back to the community with answers. And that's how the community has really grown over the last couple of years. It's been wonderful to watch the community forums. I want to remind folks that there are links in the show notes in the description of the video if you want to find out more about the MongoDB Community Advocacy Program. There are several, I guess, positions or titles. There's a MongoDB Community Creator. There's a MongoDB Community Champion, and there are different levels of participation in the community. But above all else, I think I want to make it clear that the MongoDB community is there for folks that are building great things, that have questions, and that want to add and answer questions for other folks. So appreciate your your participation in that. Anna, have you done much in the community?
Not yet, just started.
Okay.
Probably more in the asking question phase. So I will soon give to the community.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. Well, it's been a great chat, and I appreciate you showing us GenieAI. I hope we've been able to answer some questions for the listeners. Is there anything else that folks should really know about GenieAI before we begin to wrap up?
I think really, if you have any legal needs, if you need a contract, really give it a try, because it can really help you. In from the feedback we get from our users is really the efficiency that brings to your work.
Yeah, terrific.
And as I said before, Genie is evolving quite rapidly, so keep an eye on us, because we are adding a new feature in the next week and the next month. So you will be hearing from us.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we can have you back and track some of those changes, talk about all the great innovations. Thanks once again for joining us. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you
Thank you
for having us. Bye.